because of Trump's alignment with Israel, we're seeing peace accords pop up all over the place. We saw peace break out in the Middle East. Who ever thought that they would see that? And immediately, Biden sought to undo it. And the one thing on the list that we wanted to talk about was how easily the Biden administration is folding to public pressure, but also how they've already tried to pick a fight with the Israeli government. And, it's just insane. Maybe Justin can bring up a visual of what exactly happened here. Perfect. Thank you. The American government, the new Biden administration, if you look at the name of that there, it says USA Ambassador Israel. That's sort of like the short Twitter handle. But once Biden took office, they changed it from the United States Ambassador to Israel to the United States Ambassador to Israel, the West Bank, and Gaza. And this is an immediate incitement of tensions with the Israeli government. For example, Gaza is not Israeli territory. The Israelis haven't been there in years. They pulled out. There's not an Israeli citizen in Gaza. Gaza is run by a terrorist entity known as Hamas. Yeah. And they've turned it themselves into a prison territory. They took what used to be lush greenhouses, a booming economy, a resort community, because if you look where Gaza is, it's right on the water. It's beautiful, but it's a prison camp now. And that's because of the leadership of Hamas. And it's an adversarial state, I guess, territory to Israel. And yet one of Biden's first moves as president was to eliminate what was the Israeli ambassadorship and turn it into this catch-all of all the territories in and around the region there.
Sheila, I'm surprised they didn't add in Antarctica. I mean, it's just as valid as recognizing those other territories, too.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. So we know that Donald Trump has been the most pro-Israel president, I would suggest, of all time. They are building a neighborhood in the Golan Heights. I think it's called Trump Heights. Because he recognized Israel's sovereignty over the Golan. Trump moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to its rightful place in the capital of Israel, Jerusalem. So far, it sounds like Biden's not going to move it back, which is great. But immediately, Biden sought to undo all the good work that Trump did in Israel, but also in the region, because of Trump's alignment with Israel, we're seeing peace accords pop up all over the place. We saw peace break out in the Middle East. Who ever thought that they would see that? And immediately, Biden sought to undo it.
It is astonishing, Sheila, because the Abraham peace accords are so significant that I think if that was any other president other than the one with the surname Trump, they would be getting the Nobel Peace Prize for that.
Yeah.
And instead, the world shrugs its shoulders. And that's very significant. And you're right. Biden can't wait to throw kerosene on a region that is healing itself. Thanks to Trump's measures, not just the peace accords. Let's not forget, did Trump bring the USA in the last 4 years into any new war? No. He was no hawk. And, I think it's going to worsen because of, Biden has hinted that the Iran deal under the Obama administration, which Trump reversed, that might go back into place. It's still a deal for the life of me I don't understand. And so I think this is so shocking that on day one, he's already trying to instigate something. But the silver lining here and a learning lesson for others such as, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, when the Israelis raised their objections, what was it? within 2 hours, Sheila,
2 hours
of this announcement, it was reversed. Keystone XL pipeline gets canceled, and Justin Trudeau is kind of like, well, what you going to do, boss? That's how they roll down at the White House. I mean, where's his fighting spirit? I mean, Jason Kenney, he's calling for economic sanctions against the USA for the cancellation of the Keystone XL. But our Prime Minister either can't be bothered or, let me ask you this, Sheila, because you know pipeline politics more than I do. Maybe he kind of agrees with this. In fact, it's convenient that the heavy in the cancellation of the project is the President of the United States as opposed to the man in Ottawa. Is that what's going on here?
I think there's a little bit of that. I think the Israelis, God love them, they're used to dealing with adversarial states.
Yes. Yeah.
And every day is a fight for survival where they're at, although less so now, thanks to President Trump. But they said, we're going to throw out your ambassador over this. Yep. And so that's why within 2 hours, the United States government was changing their tunes. Oh, it was a technical glitch. It's a technical glitch. I've seen a lot of technical glitches. But to change the entire title of the Twitter account for the ambassador, that's a bit much of a technical glitch. That's a bridge too far as explanations go. And I was reading through the Breitbart's assessment of what was going on, and they said that it could signal a real policy change from Biden in that it looks like the new administration will recognize each of these three places as equally sovereign. And that would mean that they don't recognize Israel's claim to the West Bank at all. And that they have Gaza run by terrorists on the same plane of existence as democratic, human rights defending Israel. And I think that's gross. But yeah, the moral of the story here is all Canada had to do was threaten to throw out an ambassador over a pipeline cancellation, and we probably could get that thing back on the table, because I don't think Biden actually knows that it's across the border already. Like, it's already in the ground. What is he going to do? Rip up the pipe out of the ground? Maybe. Shut it in? I guess. But I do know that he killed at least 1,000 jobs here in Alberta like that, in one town, by the way, in Oyen. 1,000 jobs. I see estimates that 11,000 jobs in total were killed yesterday in Biden's first day in office with the cancellation of that pipeline. And, as far as Justin Trudeau was concerned, Biden was the president-elect since November. So what conversations, if any, have been taking place to defend that pipeline coming out of the PMO? I would suspect absolutely none. Why? Because those jobs are in Alberta and they're not in Quebec. And Justin Trudeau has been willing to break the law for Quebec jobs and to defend corrupt Quebec companies. But when these are 1,000 good, honest paying jobs here in Alberta, he didn't give a damn. Yeah. Why? Because we don't vote Liberal. Oh, hi, friends. What you just saw there is a clip from our Rebel News daily live stream show. It's fun, it's fast, and it's completely unscripted, so you never really know what you're going to get. Just go to rebelnews.com/livestream to sign up for special alerts